Okay. Okay. Just Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about how we picked up our first camera to the point where we are today. Let's get right into it. So Riley's going to be answering our first question, and our first question is, Riley, how did you get your first client?
So actually my first client reached out to me, which was pretty unlikely and unheard of for like a first client, but this is how it happened. So I was making cinematic edits, quote unquote. That's just kind of the style I was going for. I was just kind of playing around with my camera, learning how to edit, learning how to make shots look cool. VP of marketing of a company liked what I was doing and somehow found my videos, probably like a geotag or something locally. And he asked if I did photos, and I was like, sure, because I was kind of doing photos to start with. I was into photography more so, and then I kind of broke into video, and then I never took photos for him, and like 3 months later he asked if I did videos, like a promo video, and I said yes, although I'd never made a promo video before, and I did that video for him, and I really didn't know what I was doing the whole time, but I just kind of kept going and figured it out. What about you, Charlie?
I got my first client by reaching out to a local raceway, Firebird Raceway in Emmett, and so I did a video for one of their club teams, and it was basically like a hype video. I used to create little edits for myself and my friends when I'd go on vacations, or like, you know, just any trip or any place I really thought it would be cool to make a video. So I made one of those, and Connor New saw it. I don't know if you know who that is, but his family owns Firebird Raceway. And so I did a video for them, and I think it was like $250. My first video, and I just remember thinking it was the coolest thing ever, getting paid.
Cha-ching.
An amazing video.
What year was that?
That was about 3 years ago, and I was rocking the Sony A6000.
Okay. I was rocking the A7 Mark I, and my first video was $75. That was in 2018 though, January of 2018. So 5 years ago in like 10 days. All right, Charlie, next question. What did you do to continually progress as a videographer and get better at what you're doing?
Well, it was all about sort of just making sure you're practicing every day and, you know, doing the same thing over and over again, and looking up tutorials on YouTube on how you can improve your editing, your composition, your color grading, all those things. One thing that helped me was I invested in a couple courses. So I invested in a course from Chris Howe, who basically, it was a travel video course on how you could get paid to travel and make videos. And he basically showed all the business side of things and how you can make those connections, how to reach out, and that was very helpful for me. And then I also had access to Full-Time Filmmaker, which was game changing. I mean, there was just so many different little sections where they went over everything video related, like business related, cinematography related, and I took a lot away from that. I took notes down, and I think the biggest thing there was looking at the stuff and then actually trying to figure out how you can apply it to your career and your skill sets within video. So that's kind of where I started, and just continued to do more research, and any question I had about trying to do something for a client or trying to improve my video, I would just go to YouTube and look up tutorials. So
definitely I went to YouTube University, as I call it. I think with YouTube though, I watched tutorials for sure, but I think it was less of tutorials and more so of like just watching other creators and just picking up on what they were doing. Casey Neistat, Daniel Schiffer, all of those guys. Daniel Schiffer kind of got me into like the food scene of like wanting to do food videos. Other than that, yes, it's just like it was creating a video every day or like pretty consistently. After I did the first video for that client, I became a media intern for them, so I was doing some like videos for them quite often. So I was just keeping up my skill and my craft, and inevitably as you continue to make videos, you just learn stuff as you go. Like it's kind of hard not to, because you're like, oh, I want to do this, how do I do that? And then you go look it up, and then it's like, oh, now I know how to do that, and then you just kind of add it to your Rolodex of skills.
Another add-on question for you: who were the most influential people or people you researched on YouTube? I know you said a couple there, but who would you watch the most to try and apply it to your current video style?
Oh boy, that's a great question. So in the beginning, definitely Daniel Schiffer. When I started shooting Cine 4, I used James Matthews' color profile. Tutorial wise though, Ryan Nangle has great stuff for Final Cut. I actually have like all the transitions and stuff that I use are Ryan Nangle's. And then yeah, Daniel Schiffer, he was always a Sony guy, he uses Premiere, but I picked up on like Daniel Schiffer's like style, which was almost kind of similar to like the Peter McKinnon style at the time, probably like 2-3 years ago. So that was cool. And then other than that, like I said, Casey Neistat doesn't do like tutorial videos, you know, but like the way he creates, you like can pick up on how to effectively tell a story.
And they're fun to watch.
And they're fun to watch.
Like,
I never took a course. I never bought a course. I just never really thought of doing that. And also it was like, it always costed money. So I just always shied away from them because of that for some reason. I think I could have benefited from buying one, but I just never did. So I figured it out.
Yeah, I honestly think like I did learn some stuff from the course, but I feel like I learn the best when I'm just thrown into things.
Oh,
like
for sure.
You real world experiences where I've learned the most. Like once I fail at something, like what am I going to do next time to kind of improve from that? And what do I need to do to prepare myself so that doesn't happen again? So some people I watched when I was really young, Jake and Logan Paul. I know this is not going to reach the right viewers and they're going to be like, why is this guy watching those guys? No, I really liked their vlog styles. I know a lot of people didn't necessarily like them back then. And Logan Paul was someone I watched a lot, and I like what he's done in the business realm today. So
if you look back at my early vlogs in like freshman year of high school, it was definitely the Jake and Logan style stuff. Yeah. I remember breaking plates and doing stuff like that.
Dude, I literally broke a plate too. I went to the Dollar Tree and I broke a plate in my cul-de-sac.
That's so funny. Yeah, so I definitely agree where you're coming from there. Like that type of content was so engaging, and I was like, I need to emulate that. Obviously, like, you know, I was watching Parker Wahlbeck too. From time to time, Devin Supertramp back in the day, all those guys. But I never took video as much of an art. I kind of combined the art of video and the business of video, and that's kind of like where I hang out. But I never was like, I never spent more than like, I never edited a video for like 10 hours, you know? Like that was just never something that I did or got into. But all right, next question. Charlie, how did you know that you were staying on track to get to where you are now?
Every month I would see that I was getting more clients and I was really crafting my skill set to the point where I was happy with it every month, and I wanted to kind of push myself, and I did see exponentially that everything was like starting to get better over time. I had an idea of where I wanted to be at within a year after starting video. So
in my case, it was just believing in myself. There was not really any checkpoints along the way, because it's like when you don't really know what you're building, it's hard to know if you're doing that correctly. So it was like having the long-term goal of being able to make a living from video and enjoying what you do. So it's like, okay, let's do that, and then let's reverse engineer it. But it was pretty much just like, even the mundane everyday part of it is like, oh, I have to send another DM, or oh, I have to edit this video. But in the long term, 6 months to a year and a half, like everything kind of falls into place in a sense, and then it eventually just comes to fruition. But it's just believing in yourself and never stopping.
Yeah. Something I wanted to add on to that is I always had like a really big angle of eventually getting to the point where I wasn't the one behind the lens and I was the one in front of the lens, you know, building up such a personal brand by making these videos that I get to the point where I have a team of videographers doing stuff for me as well. Yeah. And that's definitely down the line, but I think that is something that every videographer should aspire to want to do.
No, I agree.
So, Riley, what advice do you have for current videographers trying to make it to that next level?
Oh, this is a loaded question, but what I would say is be strategic in the sense of really think about where you want to be. So if you don't want to be a freelancer and not knowing where your next check's coming from, go find someone that you can be in-house for, that they'll guarantee you a salary or something that you can build with them. Granted, I know a lot of videographers don't want to work for the man, but if you can find any type of business, like off the top of my head, like let's say you get in with a real estate group and you're their in-house video guy and you're getting a salary and you got a steady income there, but you're also growing something with them for potential of like more opportunity in the future. It's a great place to start. Other than that, if that's not something you want to do, I would just create the best quality video possible with the most value inside of it. So just making really good videos that actually add value to people, even if you're just making like promo videos for other companies. But I would definitely try to go to the route of like staying up with the trends and getting in-house with a company or an individual.
I would agree with Riley. I know a lot of people say this, but it's all about connections, people. Like, I mean, if I didn't have the connections I had freelancing, I wouldn't have got the people that would allow me to get to the next level, right? Like I met Riley at a coffee shop and we literally talked one time, and then we had a second meeting, and then we talked about working together. And the third meeting, his boss came, Blake, and we all, headed off, and then I got offered a job.
And then we hired Charlie.
Yeah, and now I'm here today. I would agree with Riley as well. If you're someone who doesn't really want to stress about getting paid on the right days and times like I did, that was one thing for me that freelancing sucked, was I didn't know when I was always going to get paid, and didn't know if I was going to be able to make rent some months because of the freelance work. And I can confidently say now it's so much better to work in-house, knowing that you have that consistent income, knowing that you can be with a team that you want to see excel and sort of grow within the company.
I think the biggest thing is perspective of working for someone and changing it into working with someone. So I think once you change that perspective there, you're going to be more motivated to do things. So like, let's say I hired Charlie to make me videos, but then in like 2 years, I'm like, let's start a media company together. It's because we were working together. It wasn't just Charlie clocking in every day and I was telling him what to do. It was like he was building something, etc. So just change that perspective.
What are some goals in the near future for you?
Goals. Okay, so I'm not necessarily the goal type of person. However, I do set goals to like direct my path, if that makes sense. So like I'll work towards a goal, but like if I don't meet that certain goal, that's fine. I'm still going towards that direction. So I would say in the near future, obviously I want to get Quick Bites to a certain spot with clientele and our YouTube and social presence. So that's one. And then obviously I have like personal goals of like, of like getting in the gym and like not consuming like artificial sweeteners and stuff like that. For the majority, it's just do better. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to like put it in one or two goals, but I have directions, I would say, that I'm heading with business and personal life.
That's good.
What about you, Charlie?
I can relate to the personal goals as well with what you were saying. Like there's a lot of fitness goals I want to accomplish. I want to get back into basketball because that was something that made me really happy in high school. I want to get to a certain weight, building muscle, and kind of just be the best version of myself, And then in terms of business, I want to get to the point where I'm more of a leader. You and I are managing a team, and I want to hit that 10K a month mark in the future. That's a big goal of mine, and really find more ways to automate our lives and make it more efficient and easier for us.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on all those too.
Yeah.
Any of those that I did not cover. So.
No, you covered some of mine though that I was like, yeah, I needed that.
Yeah, so true. But no, I agree with the leadership position, team under us. That's definitely a goal. Yeah. I don't know if that's like in the next year, probably next 2 years for sure.
2 years for sure, yeah.
I mean, the next 6 months.
My mindset lately has been like, I need to eat shit for the next 2 years, just like Gary Vee says, like
dirt in the clouds.
Yeah. Well, it's literally in our office. So Gary Vee talks about that. Like if you can keep your expenses super low, what I'm trying to do right now, like we're trying to fill up my third room,
Yeah.
And so that
you don't need an office.
I don't need an office, bro. We have one here. So, just trying to keep your expenses super low, really building that. That's another thing for me too. I want to build more of a financial safety net for myself, and really just try and grow my checking account as much as I can in these next 2 years so that when I want to purchase a home and move in with that lovely lady that ever comes around at some point, whatever, Riley. We have that buying power to be able to do that and kind of, move on in the future.
Yeah, no, I think that's okay. Now you're sparking some stuff in my brain.
Yeah.
So a goal of mine is to save up 6 months worth of expenses in just a savings account, like liquid savings account. After I surpass that 6 months savings goal, then I'll go from there.
Yeah.
See what I want to do, but only like I don't know what the statistic is, but it's like I don't even think like 10% of the population has like a month worth of like expenses saved up. Yeah. It's crazy.
No, I talk about it with my dad too. I'm like, what are some ways you kind of have a financial safety net for yourself? And he's like, yeah, he has the 6 month rule as well. Like making sure all of your 6 months expenses, so that if something were to happen, like you were to lose a job, just something,
some life occurrence
expense happens, that you still have that nice backup. So, but I want to really push that and be like, I want a year.
I also want to like really learn credit the next year, how to leverage credit for traveling, for just like how to make my life nicer and easier.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people on like TikTok and stuff that like,
there's a way to do
travel hacks through credit. It's crazy. I'm like, this guy bought a plane ticket for like $29 to Europe because of credit. Like, what?
Yeah,
like,
you gotta figure it out and learn it, but once you do, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's what my goal is for sure. So all right, well, thanks to everyone who watched this video. I hope you guys got something out of our stories and journeys as videographers. And if you are a videographer that's interested in growing as a business and yourself, keep following along, and we'll be posting videos every week. So
make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one.